This is Ray Kurzweil. He's one of the co-founders of the Singularity University. He formulated a law that is called the law of accelerating returns, which basically says that any technology, once digitized, once information enabled, then it moves on a perfect exponential trend that doubles in capacity and performance every year. And what Ray Kurzweil, he says that whenever you shift to an information-based environment, the pace of development jumps onto an exponential growth path, and that the price per performance that doubles every year or two. So the price, the price element is reduced exponentially, and the performance grows exponentially every year or two, and that is verified. So what Ray Kurzweil did, he was interested to see how stable these trends over longer periods of time. So we knew from Moore's law, as I explained, that it was true for 50 years. But Ray Kurzweil, he was interested to see how this is stable over longer periods of time. So instead of looking at the number of transistors per square inch in integrated circuits, which you can only do when you have transistors, he looked at the number of calculations per second per $1,000. And he found out that the exponential trends are true for not only 50 years, as we know from Moore's law, it was also true for 110 years. So if this has been true for the last 110 years, then most likely it's going to be true for the next 110 years. So with what Ray Kurzweil did, he extrapolated that figure out, and he was able to define or to determine the point in time when we are going to have a computer that has the compute power of a human brain. And that's going to happen in 15 years from now, in 2030. And guess what? Because this is moving on a perfect exponential trend, so that is going to be doubling every year. So a year or 2 years. So 2 years from that, you're going to have a computer that has the compute power of 2 human brains, and then 4, and then 8, and then 16. By 2050 or 2060, we're going to have a computer that has the compute power of the human brains of the 7.5 billion people living on Earth combined. Can you imagine that? Maybe we're not going to be by that time, but our kids are going to enjoy that glory. This is Siri. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Siri. I always talk to Siri, and whenever I talk to Siri, I get disappointed. Why? Because Siri does not fully understand me. But guess what? Siri, which is an artificial intelligence technology, is an exponential technology that moves on a perfect exponential trend that doubles in capacity and performance every year. So in 7 years, Siri is going to be 128 times better than it is today. So in 7 years, Siri is going to understand you better than anybody in the world, even your wives or your spouses. Can you imagine that? And this is not only happening to artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, infinite computing, sensors, networks, robotics, digital manufacturing, biotechnology, bioinformatics, synthetic biology, digital medicine, neuroscience, data science, 3D printing, nanotechnology, and even aspects of energy. All these are exponential technologies that are doubling in capacity and performance every year. So the idea is that once a technology becomes digitized, it perfectly moves on a perfect exponential trend. So if you have something analog, if you turn it into digital, then it will perfectly move on an exponential trend. Look, if we apply this to our education style, like we teach in classes, in ground classes, that's analog, right? But if we digitize that, if we go online, then we are going to start moving exponentially in that particular regard. And this brings us to the concept of disruptive innovation. A disruptive innovation is an innovation that creates a new market and value network and disrupts an existing value market and value network, displacing leading firms, products, and alliances. A disruptive innovation is not a breakthrough innovation that makes a product a lot better. No. It is an innovation that transforms a product that historically was very expensive to be affordable and accessible by large populations. Salim Ismail, who is executive president of the Singularity University, he says that an industry is disrupted when it fails to see the exponential trend that is happening in the world of technology. In this table, I have enlisted a lot of disruptive examples of disruptive innovations. For example, Wikipedia disrupted traditional encyclopedias. Okay? I don't know if you guys are familiar with Encyclopedia Britannica, but they ended their print production after 245 years in 2012. Why? Because Wikipedia provided free, it is based on volunteer people. I mean, its content is being updated, constantly updated every day. Telephony disrupted telegraphy. Smartphones disrupted personal computers and laptops. Digital photography, as I talked about, disrupted chemical photography. Hybrid cars disrupted automotive industry. Okay.